Hello, everyone. It's Melissa Faust from StampWithMelissa.com. Welcome to today's live video. It is Friday, June 6th, 5 p.m. Central Time, my local time, and I'm really excited to be here with you today for the final day of the In Color Craft Along. I can't believe it. We're already on day 6. As you join in the video, whether you're watching live or on the replay, please leave us a comment and let me know that you're here, that you're watching. I do go back and look at comments, so I love to see that, especially if you come on the replay and I don't see your comment live to answer or respond to during the video. So I am just going to chat for a minute or two while this pops up in news feeds. I know it's Friday night, so we might have some people who have to catch the replay on this. That's all right. I seriously still am like, it's Friday already. I don't know how that happened. It feels like Tuesday. I don't know. Not really. It's been a long week. Hi, Joan from Washington. Welcome. So today is the last day of the In Color Craft Along, which means it's also the last day to get the PDF for free by placing an order in my online store this week. Then you get that PDF, 41-page PDF for free as a thank you gift from me for placing an order. So not only do you get whatever you bought from Stampin' Up, but you get that PDF for free as well. So it's a pretty spectacular deal, and that ends today. So you want to get your order in. You have about 6 hours and 58 minutes from when I'm saying this. You have until the end of the day today, Friday, June 6th. So 11:59 p.m. Central Time is when that cutoff is for the PDF. So make sure you get your order in, okay? Okay. All right, let's go ahead. We are going to get started today. We are featuring Ange McKay's projects. Ange, yes, I am very tired, Joan. It doesn't come across, does it? And it's not because of this, it's because of day job. Day job is wearing me out. But anyway, so we are doing Ange McKay's projects today. She is from Canada. Hi, Alicia. And we are actually, for the craft along, we have featured both of these bundles, Cheers and Sips and Impressions of Bloom. You can't see it because the light was hitting it weird. We featured both, but to finish out the projects, we are just going to use Cheers and Sips, okay, for both of our projects. Hi, Mary Jo. Hello, Teresa. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are joining me, especially on a Friday. After this, your weekend can start, I promise. Or maybe this, yeah, it is a TGIF for sure, Alicia. Maybe this is what you want to do on a Friday. I like to craft over the weekends, you know. So anyway, we're using Cheers and Sips. Let me sneak peek you the projects that we are making today. So this is the first one, and this is the card. This one is super cute. It's actually designed to fit. You can fit lots of things in here, but it's designed to fit an EO's chapstick. So this is the strawberry sorbet, I think it's called. I showed it last night in the video. But that is, I think, the strawberry sorbet chapstick. So it actually matches our strawberry slush cardstock like perfectly. So let's go ahead. We are going to get started. I'm going to sneak that card right there. Hi, Kim. Do I think the DSP will come back in stock? Yes, I do, Joan. And let me see. I can actually look real quick and see when it's expected. Yes, I do think that all of the DSPs will come back because they're brand new, so they have to, right? But my guess is they probably went out with the sweet sale happening now. I think a lot of people are taking advantage. So yes, I knew it. Alicia said this is absolutely what she wants to be doing. Plus, it's very cloudy here in Minnesota today, so you know they're threatening some rain. Okay, let's see. Celebratory Sips is supposed to be back the week of June 16th, so not next week, but the week after. I will say no guarantee, but fingers crossed. Usually they will give you, on most products, they will give you a date that is farther out than reality, especially with paper because, well, I guess I don't know about our DSP. I know our cardstock is made in the US. And I don't know. I feel like our DSP is too, unless it's specialty DSP, and this is not specialty. But now I'm like, I shouldn't say anything because I don't know for sure. But anyway, it's supposed to be back soon, which tells me that they've already got some on the way. And that's good. So yeah, I need to order more of the DSP too. So I actually didn't even realize it had gone out of stock. So thanks for bringing that up. All right, so let's go ahead. We are going to start cutting our pieces. You know what? You should probably know what pieces we need first, right? So for our first project, if you got that craft along kit, you're going to use this little Blackberry Bliss banner. We've got a piece of strawberry slush, and then we've got the fun Pretty in Pink strawberry slush polka dot. Hi, Anne. DSP. This is from Celebratory Sips. And then also we're going to do some fussy cutting with a couple of these glasses here. So we have got these guys ready to go. And then we're going to do some cutting. So we're going to start with our strawberry slush. I'm going to actually scooch our little holder off to the side so I don't accidentally like knock it over. We are going to cut at 5.5. Okay, so in half and then turn this, and we're going to pop out that arm and cut at 6.5. Okay, these pieces are scrap, and you have lots of scratch papers left over. Oy vey. All right, we've got that. We've got our little Blackberry Bliss label, and then we need some of our DSP. So we're going to start with this strawberry slush piece. And what I'm going to do is we're going to cut at 2 3/4. And we need a lot of this, but a lot of them have a measurement that starts at 2 3/4. So we've got 2 3/4, and we're going to cut at 3/4. I'm going to use the right side of my trimmer. 3/4 again. 2 3/4. 1 3/4. And then we need 2 pieces that are 3/4 by 3/4. Do you like all those quarters? So I'm going to cut at 3/4. This piece is scrap or leftover. And then I'm going to turn that and cut 2 pieces at 3/4. This is all in the PDF, by the way, as well. Okay. And it's up to you if you want to keep this guy or not. And then from our glass DSP, we need 2 glasses here. And, you know, I think I'm going to use, I might go with what Ange did. I think I might pull out these 2 here. So like I said before, this page for me is not something that I'm too concerned about like cutting neatly into. The reality is for me personally, I don't really like this side very much. So I don't care about like preserving it for a future project because I can't really see myself using it for a future project. And if you really like that pattern, I am not knocking you. It is a pretty pattern, but I am not like super sad about it. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to trim out, but you can use any of the glasses you want to. Yeah, this piece is like well loved, right? Okay, and then because we've got that umbrella on that one piece, whoops, sorry about that, bumped the camera. Because we've got the umbrella, we are going to actually fussy cut these out as well. You could use a die on the smaller glass, but I know. Sorry, yeah, is that bad to say? Alicia said she's also really glad that this is the B-side. It's just not the prettiest. Sorry, if you really like it, like I said, it's all right. Like I just don't prefer it. Out of all the patterns in the pack, it's not my favorite, okay? And purple is like really not my favorite color, so that could be part of it. I'm a pink girl through and through. Anywho, I am fussy cutting out this glass, and then we're going to fussy cut out that other glass with the cute little umbrella. Because if we use the die on this, we would cut off that umbrella. And for this one, I want to keep it. Okay, and cut around the edge there. And up. I really like this pattern that they gave us all these different glasses. It's really fun because, you know, when you have like the handmade juices and whatever, it does have like a variation in color. So I really like how they designed this. Okay. Cut around here and here. And I'm not going to get too fussy on the inside of this. Like I'm not going to go cut in and then around the stem. I'm just going to do this like that. If you wanted to cut in here, you absolutely could. That's like A student fussy cutting, and I am not an A student when it comes to fussy cutting. Okay, let's go ahead. We need to score our strawberry slush piece. Where's my scoreboard? Here it is. Okay. And that was maybe not a great place for me to put these because they'll get stuck and, you know. All right, so on the 6.5 inch side, so the larger side here, we are going to score at 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and then we are going to turn it. Oh, this is going to be a challenge. We need to score at 1 1/4. All right, we can do it. See, this is, you know what? Let's do this. I'm going to turn this around. Yes, I have a hangnail. I know, annoying. And you know, I want to say I didn't pick at it, but that's just not the truth. Anywho, all right, there's a 1/4 inch. And then we want 1 1/4. So I just had to flip that around because I'm right-handed, and so it's hard for me to like get in here and also hold the paper. You know what I mean? Okay, and then we want 4 1/4 and 5 1/4. Alrighty, so there's that. And then we can go ahead and we are going to burnish the score lines. Okay. And then we're going to do some cutting here. Now those 1/4 inch marks are actually like our little tabs. It's kind of neat how this project came together. I'm pretty sure Ange designed this like completely on her own with the intent that it would fit one of those lip balms. So that's kind of cool. All right, so there's that one. Then with those 1/4 inch, I just kind of used my finger to curl that a little bit more. It's a little bit tough to get that burnished when it's such a small score line. So I used my hand just to kind of help fold it into place. I know, darn hangnails for real. Yeah, I know. Okay, so with this larger panel on the bottom, I'm going to pull this back in. That's our back side here. Okay, so you can kind of see how this is going to just roll all the way around to get adhered. So I've got this piece on the bottom, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to cut up the largest or the longest score line, okay, to that first score line and stop, and then we'll go to the side and cut in. We are preserving that large square to be the back, okay? So do the same thing on this other side. And there is also a diagram in the PDF that is helpful. That's what I'm referencing to make sure I don't cut the wrong spots. But this is the back side, right? So these are going to curl up. All right, so we've got that cut. Then we're going to just turn this slightly, and we're going to cut up all of these little score lines. And we're going to start there, and then we're going to do a little bit more. So we'll start just by trimming up these. Okay, so once we've got those trimmed, I'm going to call them 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. On 1, we're going to cut away that little 1/4 inch tab. And then we're going to miter cut the edge. Okay. And I need to trim off a little bit extra. There we go. Okay, on 2, we're just going to miter cut that 1/4 inch tab. Okay, so we're just, because that's going to go in the sides here. So you can see it's like our little, it's what's securing. It's our, what do we call it? Our flap that's going inside there. Okay, on number 3, we are going to cut away that 1/4 inch tab. If I can, oh my goodness gracious. Maybe I'm not the best crafter on Fridays. Who knows? Okay, we've got that cut, and you know what? I need to make it a little slimmer because I cut. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to miter those. So just like we did on tab 1. Okay. And then our tab 4, we're actually going to get rid of. So I'm going to turn this, and right here where that score line is, I'm just going to cut in. Okay, so you can see it like so. And then we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side here. Okay, just mirror this. So if we're going left to right now, we've kind of switched, right? Our tab 4 became tab 1, but we're going to cut up all of the score lines. Okay. Then this guy we're going to cut away. This first one, we're going to cut that 1/4 inch tab off and miter cut the edges. Okay, and then the second tab, we're just going to try to hold it so it's easier to see. We're just going to miter cut those 1/4 inch tabs. And on our last tab here, we're going to cut away that 1/4 inch and then miter cut the flap. All right. Lots of fun, right? Okay, let's get rid of our little scrappies. Maybe I can shovel it. Look at that. That was fancy. Anywho. All right, we've got these guys taken care of. Now, before we assemble, we're actually going to work on our sentiment, and then we will assemble all of these pieces. So we're going to take this Blackberry Bliss Stylish Shapes label here, and I'm actually going to pull in my messy scrap paper. This is not necessary, but when I use embossing powder, I like to have this here in case I spill a little, okay? All right, so for this one, we are going to heat emboss our sentiment. And so I want, what do I want? I want my embossing buddy. Okay, and we're going to just tap that on. That removes any static on our label to help that powder stick only where the Versamark is, okay? All right, so we've got that. Then we're going to take our Versamark and the sentiment that says "It's Your Day" and stamp that right in the middle. Okay, and we can close this guy up and grab our white powder. Now, while I do this, I'm going to turn my heat tool on right now so that it has some time to warm up. If it's not warmed up before we actually heat emboss, it warps your paper a little. So, let's see if I can pick this up without touching where I stamped. All right. There's that. Cute. You can go over it a second time if you want to, just to make sure. Close my embossing powder so it doesn't spill and make a mess. I do too, Alicia. You love making treat holders. I know, they are really fun. Although storing them is not always the most fun. So I do, when I make them like normally, I try to think of a use for them right away. Because I don't want, if I store them, then they get crushed, you know? And I do not want that. So, all right, we are going to heat emboss. So I'm just using a tweezers to hold this. Look how pretty. Oh, that's so cute. I love how the color pops off of the Blackberry Bliss. It's so lovely. All right, don't put your heat embossing stuff too far away because we are heat embossing on the card as well, okay? All right, and then we're going to take our Ice Cube stamp and our Blackberry Bliss ink, and I'm going to take this Blackberry Bliss glass. Now, if you cut this in a different color, change your ink pad color. All right, and then we're just going to stamp a couple of these ice cubes into the glass. So cute. All right, close that up. And then we can go ahead and assemble. So I am going to grab my silicone craft mat, and I am going to put the box together before I put the DSP on because sometimes I get really nervous. I'm going to put things in the wrong spot. So what we're going to do is this is going to be like the front. So I'm going to flip this over, and right here I'm going to run some tear and tape on that little 1/2 inch flap. Okay. You could use liquid glue as well, but you know I prefer tear and tape over liquid glue any day. All right, then I'm going to just peel this off. Get out of here. There we go. And curl back this little anything exposed, and I'm flipping this over and just going to fold this flat. Actually, we can fold this down. Okay, and then it's going to sit up like this. How fun is that? Doesn't this remind you? I don't know why. It reminds me of a Tootsie Roll. I have no idea why, but here we are. Anywho, so that we can close these flaps and no adhesive needed, we're just going to tuck that in. Look at how fun that is, right? Okay, so on this side, I do have another one of those EOS lip balms. So I'm going to stick that guy in, close our flaps, and shut that end. Oh, and that end decided it wanted to open. But anywho, if you have a side that does want to open, you can always glue one side down and just leave the other one. I don't know why this one's like, no, I don't want to shut. I don't know. Weird. Okay. I'll bend it a little. That's so interesting. I don't know why it's doing that. There we go. It just wanted to be difficult, I guess. Okay, let's go ahead and we are going to adhere. It says it's Friday. let me out. We're going to adhere our DSP on. So I've got all 6 of these pieces and my seal. We're just going to add some adhesive to the back of each piece. Okay. And then we will get these added to our project. So let's start with our smallest and we'll work our way up. So we've got our little squares. These are going to go on those flaps that we tucked in. Okay, just like so. And then we've got these skinny pieces. We're going to put one on the front and one on the top. Okay, then our next piece here, we're going to lay right here. And last but not least, our largest square is going to go on the back. How cute is that? Oh, I think my lip balm is hitting the side and then it's popping open. You know, just, I know, isn't that fun? Actually, you know, it's funny. I had to make an Amazon return the other day. So I was at Kohl's and I saw these EOS lip balms in the checkout lane at Kohl's. And I was like, perfect. I got to pick those up. I need those for a project. So it worked out really well. So anyway, because naturally when you go to Kohl's to return something to Amazon, you then buy something else. That's how it works. It's just the rule. I don't make the rule. I just follow it. Okay. So I cut some of our ribbon here. And this is a little bit tricky for me, but we got it. We are going to tie this around that top section. And you know what? I'm going to flip it around this way. And because I'm me, I'm going to turn this ribbon so that it's not like twisted. There we go. But I'm going to use it this way so I can tie it a little bit easier. And we're just going to tie this into a bow. Okay. There we go. Got it. All right, so we've got that. Then I'm going to twist that bow around. And then the nice thing about this is you can actually slide it up and down wherever you want it to go, right? And we'll just trim off. I keep bumping that now. Now it's going to paranoid me. I don't know. We're going to trim off the tails. Is that even like the right way to say that? It's going to paranoid me. Okay, this tab is annoying me with it keep popping open. But see, then when the lip balm hits it, I think that's why it pops open. Anyway, I just have to get over it. Okay, there we go. Let's add our drinks here. And we are going to add these with some dimensionals. Okay, and I'm going to keep the dimensionals a little bit lower on this taller glass because it's going to go off the top edge. And we don't want any exposed dimensionals over there. Okay, so then we can just tuck this in. And tuck this one on top. So super cute. Take our sentiment and I'm going to add some mini dimensionals. Stick those on the back. And then this is going to get popped up right in between those glasses there. Just like that. How cute is that? Isn't that fun? I know. I'm thinking I might need to, Alicia, to glue this side shut because it keeps opening. Let's do it. If your side keeps opening too, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to use liquid glue because it's going to be easier here. If one side keeps opening for you, just fix the problem by gluing it closed. Okay. Oh, you know what? I was hitting the cardstock in there. I bet I wasn't actually fully tucking it in. That's okay. Problem solved now. Right? Right. Anywho, so that when your recipient goes to open it, if they rip that side open, that's all right. But otherwise, they can open it from this side. And I'm going to open it from this side real quick. And I'm going to use my bone folder to just burnish where I just glued. Just to make sure that actually stuck down there. Because you can't fit your fingers in to, you know, get it to work. So, anywho, there we go. There's our cute little treat. Isn't that fun? I think that's so cute. All right, let's scooch this one off to the side and we are going to go on to our card. Isn't that beautiful? I love this card, even though we have to fussy cut. All right, so for this card, what do we have? Let me scroll to that spot in the directions. We have got some thick basic white cardstock. We've got some regular basic white cardstock. We've got some basic black cardstock. We've got a cute little basic black die cut. So this is the same size as the last project we did, but this is in basic black this time. We're going to use this pattern of DSP, and we're going to use our drinks DSP as well. So for our drinks DSP, I'm going to mix it up just a smidge, just to use some things that are a little closer to the edge. And I'm going to grab, I'm trying to see if there's any that are a little closer. I'm going to go over here and grab these three. We're just going to, I was thinking about using this one. Yeah, actually, let's do that. We're going to use this one that's floating over here. And I'm going to use all of the small glasses for this card. Okay, and we're going to use these two here, the one with the little orange wedge and the one with some lavender in it. Okay. How am I like not competent today at holding paper? It's been a week. That's how, I suppose. Okay, so you've got that. Let's go ahead then. We are going to start cutting some of these pieces. Okay, so we're going to start with our thick basic white, and we're just going to cut this in half, 5 1/2, and then we'll score that in half at 4 1/4 to make our card base. Okay, and then we need basic white. We're going to cut this at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Now, if you got my original instruction sheet, I forgot to mention that you need it, or supply list. I forgot to mention, yeah, it actually and you said blame it on the Band-Aid, which is kind of funny, but it's also kind of true. It's like, oh, that finger's out of commission. Anyway, I forgot to mention on the supply list originally that you need an embossing folder, but I did add it to the email that went out today. So I do apologize for that, but you can use any embossing folder. I'm going to use Glass and Gardens. That's what Ange used. So that's what I'm going to do. And then we need some basic black, and we're going to cut at 2 3/4 by 5 1/2. And then of course we need our die cut piece here. And then we need glasses. And last but not least, we need some of the smaller blobs here. So what I'm going, actually we might use the bigger ones. I think we are going to use the bigger ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by cutting, which way do I want to go? This way. I'm going to cut off that top row, the smaller blobs, and set that to the side. And then we want this to be 2 1/2 inches. Okay, and I can see that's going to cut off some of the bottom. I don't really like that. So I'm going to pull this down just a smidge. I can see in my gutter, and I'm going to cut into the white space. And then we can flip this around and cut at 2 1/2. Okay, and it might chop off just a smidge of the color, but that's better than what it would have been. Okay, so we've got that, and then we want to cut 3 blocks out, any of the colors you want, at 1 5/8. Okay, so you can go in a row, or you can mix and match. So I'm going to do a purple one. And that one, see, again, I would have cut into the color. So I'm going to go to the side, and then I'll flip it back around and cut at 1 5/8. And I don't know, maybe this one. Like so. And then we've got our 3 blocks here. Okay. All right. So then before we do anything else, I'm going to take this basic white piece and we are going to emboss it. So these are the Glass and Gardens embossing folders. I do think these are actually out of stock right now too, but they will be back. So I'm going to use this one here. I think this is considered the glass because this one would be the garden. And you can see these are actually mini embossing folders, but that's all right. We only really need the bottom half of our basic white to be embossed. So there's a black line right here that runs through the Stampin' Up! Logo. So I'm lining up my paper, and then we'll fold this, and you can see it's not going to emboss the whole thing. That's okay. I'm going to grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine here. Now these are not 3D folders, which means that they are not thick. Okay, Okay, so to emboss these, we want our number 1 plate, and then we're going to take a number 3 clear plate, put your embossed piece, okay, and then we're going to take another number 3 plate, and that is our sandwich for this. So it's just like die cutting, but you're taking out that number 2 plate, okay? Alrighty, so we've got that. I can scooch these away. And you can use whatever embossing folder you want. You don't have to emboss, totally up to you. Then we have that fun pattern there. So I think that's really cute. So let's go ahead then and let's do our heat embossing on our sentiment. So just like with our last project, we're going to do our sentiment on the cute little label from Stylish Shapes. So we've got the basic black one here. Let me grab my supplies. We are going to use our embossing buddy to remove that static. Okay, and then I'm going to put this back in the bag because, you know, I'm a put it away kind of person. Put it away as I go. So I don't like lose stuff, right? Right. Okay, so then we're going to ink up in Versamark the sentiment that says, "Let's celebrate." And get my head over that to make sure I'm straight on. Close up our Versamark, and then this time we're going to use gold embossing powder. Now, if you don't have gold, that's all right. You can use white. Or even silver would be pretty, but the gold looks really nice with our ribbon. Okay, so I started that heat tool. I'm carefully picking up our sentiment. And tap, tap, tap. So cute. I love that. It's going to look even better when it's heat embossed. Close up our bin here. And then I've got my tweezers again, just to help hold this in place. There's a little extra embossing powder. And then we'll keep this. Look how cool it's going to turn as it melts on. Oh my gosh, you can see that. It's so cool. Heat embossing is one of the coolest and easiest techniques. It's so awesome. And I love, like, when you put that gold embossing powder on, it does not look like as bright and shiny. So I really like the look of it once you get it on there. Okay, so let's fussy cut so we can get that out of the way, right? Okay, so now this one, again, you could use the die on, but the other two have stuff coming out of them. So we are going to fussy cut. Okay. I think this card turned out really cool too. I really liked all of the projects this week. It's just kind of amazing. Like, you know, we had 2 bundles, like 2 stamp sets that we used between the 6 of us, and all of them were so different and so cool. So it just goes to show, like, there's just so many different ways you can paper craft. There's no right way, right? It's just really cool to see all of the different styles. And I hope you felt inspired this week. I hope you enjoyed. And we were already talking today about our next one. So get excited for that. Yeah, anyway, make sure you're on my email list so that you know when we launch registration. It'll be in a few months, so you have some time, but you know, get on the email so you can be notified. All right, wrap around our orange. Okay, and then last but not least, we've got this purple one with the little lavender. I think that's lavender. I don't know. And I'm not going to get like too detailed cutting in between the leaves because, again, that's for an A student. And I would not get an A if there was a fussy cutting class. I'd probably get like a B or a C+. I mean, they don't look bad, but man, there are people who can really fussy cut well. You know what I mean? All right. There we go. I don't think those turned out too bad. I think they're pretty all right. Okay, so we are going to start by adhering that basic white piece. I might run out of seal, but hopefully it holds out for us. Okay, we're going to start by adhering this to our basic white card front. And I put the embossed part towards the bottom. It is lavender. Good. I'm so glad you guys loved it. How many embossing powders are in there? So like how many little bottles do I have in there, Teresa? Probably like five or six, I would say. As far as like different colors of embossing powders, we have 6. So that's kind of cool. So, all right, then we're going to add some adhesive to the back of our basic black piece. And this is going to stretch all the way across the card front. So I am just using my fingers to line that up with the edge of the card base on the left. And we'll bring that all the way across here. Okay. And then we're going to take these pieces, our blobs, right? And add some adhesive to the back of these. Oh my gosh, the seal might hold out for us, you guys. Yes. Yes. Look it. No way. We don't have to use any more seal. Yeah, I definitely will do another one, but it's good to hear that you had fun. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, so we are going to adhere these down. I'm going to start with the one on the left-hand side, and I'm using or leaving an equal border around the left and the top and the bottom. And then we'll do the one on the right-hand side and do the same thing. And the reason I do the sides first is so that when I come in with the center one, we can split the difference. Instead of me accidentally doing it like this, right? We can just go ahead and split that difference and put it in the true center here, just like so. And then we can add our fun drinks. Now, I don't want the purple on the purple. I might want the purple on this. I don't know. You just kind of mess around with them. I like that kind of color scheme. So that's what we'll do. And we're going to add dimensionals to the backs of our drinks here. Look, last dimensional from that pack. Like, we'll just use one. It is turning out. I don't know. It's working out. Okay, so then we've got that. And we can just add these up with dimensionals right in the middle of those blobs. So cute. And it worked out. This one on the left doesn't have anything above it. We're going to add our ribbon there, so then it won't be as hidden. Okay, so then our sentiment we're going to put right here. Now what I want to do is it's going to be flat on the glasses, but it's going to be popped up in the middle. So I'm just going to take one mini dimensional and add it to the center of our die. And then on the edges, look, we are going to use seal. On the edges, add a little bit of adhesive so that those adhere down to the cups, okay? We can stick that right there. So cute. And then take our ribbon. Where did it go? Here it is. It was right in front of my eyeballs because that's usually how that works, right? Right. Okay, and then we're going to add this inside the card. I'm making sure it's not twisted. And I think that's good. Okay, and I'm not measuring my ribbon, I'm just eyeballing. So we are going to pull this all the way over and tie a bow. How cute is this card? I love this card too. It's so fun, especially if you have like, so I have a Brother scan and cut machine, so I could have it cut out all these cups for me, and then I would happily make like 20 of these cards. Especially if I don't have to be the one who cuts them all out, right? It's not too bad for like 3, but if you were making a bunch of these cards, you'd have to like sit in front of the TV or something and just like spend the night fussy cutting, don't you think? All right, then we're just going to trim the tails off our ribbon and add some embellishments. So we're going to add some of our Pretty in Pink and Strawberry Slush gems. We've got our clear ones up at the top. And we're just going to sprinkle these in. So I might add like one down here, a little one right on the center of the orange. Maybe let's do another big one. Come here. There we go. I'm going to put that right up there. It's too in line with the orange. Hold on. We're going to scooch it a little. Maybe we're going to put it on the glass. That's what we're going to do. I just had to, it was like right across from that one and I didn't want that. So that is our card. What do you think of this one too? I love these projects. Again, I hope you've had so much fun. Let me pull in all of, oh, that's not, where's the one I just made? Right in front of my eyes. You guys. Like, where's the one we made tonight? Oh my goodness. Anyway, so here are the 2 projects we made tonight. Let me pull in all of the projects because you guys, oh my goodness gracious, I just made them all fall. That's okay. We'll make sure we have them all. We have made such a cool collection of cards and 3D items. Let me lay out the cards first here. Super beautiful, super pretty. I think that's all the cards. And then we made these fun 3D items as well. So we've got a couple of bags. We've got this cute little chapstick box, a little drink mix box. These are so much fun. I have loved this craft along series. So thank you for joining me for all of the days. If you haven't watched all of the days, you can go back and watch any of the days you missed or just watch again. Whatever you want to do. Yeah, do you have a favorite? I know, I love them all too. I don't think I have a favorite. Maybe I do. I really like this card a lot. So anywho, but then as a reminder, we have got that beautiful PDF. Here's the whole thing from bottom to top, 41 pages with all of the detailed instructions and diagrams for these projects. So you can see there's pictures, there's measurements, there's supplies, there's instructions. It is chock full and it is free when you place a $50 order in my online store through tonight, Friday, June 6th, end of day, 11:59 p.m. Central Time. So get your order in if you haven't already. You can order whatever you want. Anything we used in the craft along that you don't already own or something else that's on your wish list. Take advantage of that sweet sale. Get something from the last chance list. All of that. All is good. So and that PDF will be sent to you automatically if your order's in by midnight tonight. So thanks so much for joining, everyone. I have really enjoyed this week. I will be back on Tuesday night, June 10th, for my regular weekly live. We're going to just go back to our regular. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed it so much. It just makes me happy because, of course, I want to offer things that you enjoy, right? And I've enjoyed it a lot, too. So it's a win-win for both of us. So, all right. Thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will catch you live again next week. Bye for now.